over here, man.
My people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough.
This is the Patriots Prayer Podcast. It's a tremendous show, one of the greatest shows in the history of the world.
This is Bryson Gray, and you are watching the Patriots Prayer.
PTN, you're doing the right thing.
On the Patriots Prayer Network. Thank you all.
PTN on your bumper.
I'm Tom McDonald. This is the Patriot Prayers Network. Check it out. Lots of good TV. Lots of cool people. Tune in. Keep it locked.
I'm the white boy with the middle fingers in the air, dog. We don't give a what. 100 white boys gonna hold me down anywhere, dog. We think that you suck. My Patriots the craziest. They ain't afraid of breaking fists on faces. If you really wanna taste of this, no safety tip. The same mistake and spray the clip. I pray you miss, cause if you don't, they gon' go wacko. Automatic gun smoke like tobacco. Never hit a lady, but it's pretty hard to tell if you're a girl or a they, them. There's these, that, those. I ain't never gonna take a knee for the anthem. Smack them. I don't give a damn, can't stand them. Gang full of randoms. Fan with a handgun. Run up in your mansion, leave it all abandoned. I was raised to be brave to the grave. United States, we love the country that they've been corrupting. Go woke and go broker if you ain't obeyed. My people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags. American flags. American flags. And every time we pull up, all you...
Welcome, my fellow tribe of patriots. Tonight we have a special episode of the Cowboys Indians Podcast. Steve is out of commission tonight. Of course, I'm your host, the Native Patriot. With me today in a special episode is the co-creator of the Patriots Prayer Network. We have Eddie Smith on the far left of your screen. And of course, we have Theodis Daniels, who is running for office down in Texas District 18. I'm really excited for this. If you guys don't know, Theodis here is the father of DJ Daniels, and he's decided to put his foot in the ring and get involved in politics now. So, Theodis, thank you for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. And Eddie, how are you doing tonight?
Brother, there's so much going on. I'm good. I don't know where we're going to start. I'll just let you just take us wherever, bro, because there's so much going on. I don't know if you want to go at it directly from the theological point or what's happening in the news, but there's so much prophecies coming true right in front of our faces. These things that are going on in Israel, all aligned with it. It's an exciting time to be alive, dude. It is. It's a very exciting time to be alive.
It is, and it's exciting to put your foot in the ring into the realm of politics, Theodis. So, how's that going so far? And what are your plans kind of from here on out? Because I've wanted to promote you. I met you a while ago, and you seem like a genuinely good American. You know, a regular, everyday American that has decided, okay, now is the time for regular Americans to step up and take on this role that have been ran by a different class of Americans that have been the sophisticated class that have separated themselves from the American people themselves. So I'm excited to see you run, and I'm going to do everything in my power to help you win because I truly believe in you. So what is your I guess, what do you want to accomplish with this?
Well, first of all, I want to bring everybody back to thinking on their own and also if they have something that they want to do, don't think it's impossible. Everybody, today is kind of like been brainwashed to think that only a degree or you have to have 6 digits in your bank account is what's gonna take to get to be a congressman or a senator or anybody elected, and that's not true. You just have to wake up in the morning and just have the drive in you to want to do it, and God's gonna help you out either way it goes. You may not have that much money to start, but he'll provide as you go along, as long as you stay faithful, no question. Now, this 18th district special election here, I'm totally excited to do it, but it's a little bit of bumps in the road. It's because the local media is only allowing for other candidates airtime, if not when they do debates or forums, they only do those 4. So, TV is in the business of programs, and so that's what they do. They keep putting the same people out every time, so that your mind to get accustomed to their names and their faces, and then you just automatically go vote for them. Well, I decided to do something bigger, better than that. I went and got the biggest coroplast signs I could find, and I'm plastering them everywhere I can put them. I got some 16-foot coroplast signs I'm going to put above the rest of them. I put the big signs on the side of the trucks. I've got some homeless people. I'm paying $20 an hour for 2 hours a day for them to stand over bridges on the freeway, on corners.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. I actually, like, I love that. That's
we got to go back to
really
old school.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's economical and
grassroots campaign, bro.
You're right, but
grassroots,
right? And me gainfully employing a few homeless folks, that gives them a little bit of hope. Like, man, I can stand out here and make this money honestly, and I do this every day. Well, hell yeah, I'll pay you $20. It's worth it for me. And I give them something to eat. I make sure that they get something to drink. I have somebody else come by check on them and stuff like that. 2 hours a day is not going to kill them. And what they make, $20 an hour. That's not too bad. It's $40 every 2 hours. So that's 4, 8, 12, $120 in 6 hours. They're happy. And then, they can go get a room and go get them something to eat and wash themselves up a little bit and hope for tomorrow. And we keep on pushing. But, I'm going to, it looks like I was telling Eddie, I'm going to end up having to do my own forum because I think they're afraid of debating me. I really do. I believe they're afraid of debating me. I'm almost willing to bet on the fact that they don't want to see me enter a room. You should see the last time when I entered the room with DJ walking in there with me, it's like, oh my God, this dude is here. Yeah, you should feel that way. I want you to feel that way because you know why? Because change is coming, and you got somebody that's walking in this door that knows all the messes and all the neglect that those elected folks have derelicted in their duties and failed every voter that's out there. And not to mention, this isn't a money situation for me. This is a personal situation because my son would have never even been going through his cancer journey had it not been for the environment that he was in during Hurricane Harvey when they found all those 50-gallon barrels of dioxide buried in the bedrock that Hurricane Harvey threw on the banks of Channelview. And then come to find that the city and the county was getting paid from the paper mills and the chemical plants to bury stainless steel barrels in brackish water, which means saltish water, fresh water mixed together, which it'll corrode the stainless steel. And that's what happened. But then the city, when you drive along the Channelview route going to Highlands, if you see the signs, it never mentions dioxide was in the water. It says beware mercury levels and not to eat the fish or shellfish. Yeah. So yeah, we got a problem. But like, I'll even say their names on here. You got Menifee, you got Edwards, you got Martin, and you got Jones, Jolanda Jones. And they're all running, but they've been around the block a few times. And I think they've been around the block a little too much. And it's time for some fresh blood to get up in there. I mean, for God's sakes, hopefully God, give me that position for that 1 year. You only got to deal with me for 1 year. I mean, if there ain't no results, then you don't have to worry about me coming back. You don't have to be stuck with me in a gaslighting, toxic, manipulative, Stockholm syndrome relationship. I ain't got no problem with it.
They're going in on him, but he's right, and I think that we went through this before with other candidates, and they said the same thing. It's like the parties seem as though the donors pay people to run. They know they're going to lose, but they put their faces out there over and over and over again, and they're only giving airtime to certain people. And I know this because for those of you who don't know, I've been working with Theotis, very close with Theotis to get a lot of these things done, and I have contacted all major and local news outlets directly, spoke to people, emailed people, trying to get him press, pushing for these debates, calling venues to set these debates up. And in each step of the way, they're stonewalling. They're coming up with excuses, not giving him airtime. He's not the establishment candidate. I know this because I know exactly who the donors are. There's no organizations behind this guy. There's these people in the chat. That's what it is. The guy's giving $5 and $10 and $20 donations that are in the chat. That's who's funding this guy. So he's in nobody's pocket. There's no APAC donors. There's no BlackRock donors, Vanguard, State Street, defense contracting. None of that stuff, guys. None of it. and he's doing this with just the people, and that is rare. I've never, not even once in my entire life, seen a truly grassroots campaign.
Well, this is where it's time. It's where it's time to change, right? Because what has been your profession, Theotis, for the last decade?
The last decade, a majority, I'm a wildlife consultant. I deal with the control of wild animals, the dangerous ones, bobcats, mountain lions, jaguars, especially wild hogs. That's my main thing. I don't think you're going to find another better trapper in the state of Texas than get in and clear 100 hogs out in a couple of days and keep people safe. And that's one of the main things. Other than that, a lot of people don't know, and I'll have the pictures and everything to show it, but we've been building container homes for transitional housing to put people in, take them off the streets, such as homeless veterans and emergency housing for domestic violence victims, or just people that want to own something tangibly and still be able to afford it. Concerning, minimum wage hadn't moved up anywhere, but at least, you can make it on that or Social Security. So there's a lot of different things we've done too. It's not just that. Eddie,
I know.
I know. Well, but I mean, go ahead. My point here is that you're an everyday American. You're one of the guys who have been contributing to the citizens around you, not commanding from a position of looking at the citizenry on paper, right? Seeing the citizenry as a number, as, okay, how are my polls doing? How is this doing? How's this demographic, the Latino demographic? How do they see immigration? No, you've been on the ground actually doing work with the American citizens. That is completely different than the class that we've been fed for so long. The separation from the people. The government that we have is supposed to be by the people, of the people, for the people. But it's become this entity that creates its own version of Americans that are completely isolated from the regular population.
Yep.
And you're not one of them. That's why I want you to win. I want you to get in there and start tearing shit up, to start actually making a change and giving a voice to the American people, which we severely lack. It has just been a separation of government and the people for too long.
Yep, you're right. And we gotta get in the business of putting the car back on the road. Everybody's been kind of off the road a little while, and I could care less about a popularity contest. I could care less if you think I'm not the sexiest dude in the room. Don't care, honestly. Don't care if you talk about me. Don't care if you sit there and throw me under the bus. I don't really care. You got a guy here that just don't give. I don't care about too much except the fact trying to make people's lives a little easier. My life's been upside down ever since, my son was 6.5 years old and getting his cancer. My mother getting murdered. She was stabbed in the throat, chest, palms in the hands, and that's the way they found her. And then, my son gets shot. He was 7 years old, and I have no more parents. So, my both my parents are gone now. So it's definitely been a rough road. We lost our house during Hurricane Harvey. We slept on the concrete floors with chairs around us. I've given people CPR that have been shot. They died on me. I've been to countless law enforcement funerals. I've been to countless kids that were killed because Ray Ray and Pookie outside arguing over Facebook posts and shooting up the apartments and stuff like that. That's ridiculous. Or even you have some other elderly folk, their AC's breaking their house and they won't open the windows. It just so happened. I mean, I've been working on AC since I was like 9 years old with my dad. So I'll go and fix their AC for them. No problem.
Now, because of your past and the thing that you went through, your mom, you talked about, you've seen this Ukrainian woman on the train. Obviously, the man takes an innocent life for no apparent reason. And now and then this guy that stabbed someone 99 times in Indiana, and they just let him walk. I mean, when you hear stuff like that after the things that you've been through, how does that affect you?
Yeah, that burns me up. I tell you what, I think it's is it an Eighth Amendment, I believe. But anyway, that kind of applies to that. The punishment should fit the crime. If you kill somebody, you shouldn't be able to walk on the streets until you prove yourself and clear your name. And then you have the judges and the county attorneys that's letting everybody out of jail. But remember, they think they can get away with everything because they have an absolute immunity. Well, guess what? Forefathers already wrote it in black and white, not any other color ink, that says that no one is above the law. So if those judges and DAs decide to want to let somebody that murdered get out and go home, then they should be held accountable and say that, look, if they go out and do something, I'll take full responsibility for it. But of course, you know what? They're not adult enough to do that. So we got to put measures in place to take care of that business. But sounds to me like that dude on that train that stabbed that poor girl that was from Ukraine. Sounds like he's a good candidate to be an El Salvadorian resident there and a citizen at that prison. Or Ugandan. Maybe he can be African now. He can go to Africa and be in Ugandan.
Yeah, there's definitely a mental health crisis, and it seems to me, and then they just put it out earlier today in the news that they believe that it actually is policy on the left wing. They've been secretly meeting and concocting these types of things to happen to let these people out there, whether it not be actually arresting or pushing charges on Antifa members, these riots in liberal cities, the cashless bail system. It is all part of an actual conspiracy on the left to attack America, to drag America down. And when you hear that, when you hear like this has been they're not saying like this is what we think or anything. They're saying this is what we found out. And then when you couple that with what RFK and Tulsi Gabbard said about finding out, like once and for all, that HHS was complicit in trafficking, this type of news just gets heard once, and then all of a sudden people forget that they said it. And it's like, no, guys, you don't understand. Did you hear what they just said? That our federal government is paying people and creating a whole underground economy to move unaccompanied minors all throughout the United States and hand them off to transnational criminal organizations where they're even being sold for slave labor, sex, whatever the case may be. And we were complicit in this. We knowingly and willfully participated in it. And when you think about it that way, it's like, man, I get mad at everybody, even this administration. I want to see more people in handcuffs. I want to see Adam Schiff in handcuffs. I want to see Eric Swalwell in handcuffs. I want to see action, not just, who do we have? What's her face? The Somalian chick. What's her name?
Ilhan Omar.
Omar participated in the biggest pandemic fraud scheme in history. $250 million. 67 people got prison time. She got $30 million of it, and she's not even being charged with a crime, and broke our immigration laws to come here by marrying her brother after escaping accountability while her father was part of the Islamist Marxist government in Somalia. And yet she comes here and gets elected and tries to turn America into the hellhole.
Selected. I would like to just selected. There's specific. A lot of the Congress members or senators that you see on TV have been selected for that role to give a certain narrative out to the people to make it seem like we have representation, whether it be on the right or the left. A lot of this, from what I've seen throughout the past years, it has been this way. We have people like Thomas Massey in there for the libertarian crowd, who comes out and virtuously says, I voted no again. I didn't do anything. I'm just basically a seat here, and I vote no on everything. And it's like, all right, well, you're not building a coalition. You're not actually doing anything. It's just like he's playing a role. And I'm not saying that he's bought and paid off or anything like that, but I don't see any action happening from that side of the aisle, and I don't feel any true representation. I feel like people have been put in there to just say their lines and then give us this feeling that we have some kind of representation, but behind the scenes they all work together, and then the American people get screwed over again and again and again. And it's because, in a lot of ways, the people that have been selected have not been they haven't been the working class. They haven't been the class that has struggled for a long time. Or if they do have that sob story, now that they're rich and they got millions and millions of dollars, they're like, well, I don't want to lose this, so I won't say anything that upsets my donors. It's a hard line to walk. We lost the Otis.
Yeah, we lost the Otis. unless he logs back in. Let's switch it to 2. All right. So yeah, if he opts back in, he opts back in. But you're right. Listen, I love Thomas Massey's ability to stand on character, which is the same reason I loved Ron Paul. But the Libertarian Party throws the baby out with the bathwater. I mean, we interviewed libertarians prior to the election, and there were many of them who said that they were going to abstain from voting. And it just made no sense to me when the difference between the two candidates were so drastic that you would think that not voting is the better option. It's crazy. Yeah.
Okay, Troll here says that only one with a backbone. Now, the only opposition I have towards that is that Thomas Massey hasn't been able to actually do anything with the courage that he's showed to oppose whatever he's opposing, right? It just seems like they kind of keep him there as like the outcast. Like, okay, he's going to give the libertarians a voice, and they're going to have their champion. Meanwhile, we're going to continue passing everything we want to. And it's like there hasn't been any, like, the squad has done more than Thomas Massey has, right? They're able to coalesce and bring people together to actually accomplish something, as opposed to just standing in front of a tank as it runs you over, right? Like that's kind of how I feel. Thomas Massey's, like, his whole strategy is just like, I'm not going to move from this tank. Ah!
But imagine that if we did have real staunch fiscal conservatives in those positions that really thought and voted the way that he did, where they said, this is a line that I won't cross or compromise. I think back to when Kevin McCarthy was voted out of the House as Speaker for not keeping his promises, and Matt Gaetz, along with 7 other congressmen, were the only ones with enough balls to actually vote to throw him out, and that was enough. It took 8 people to oust Kevin McCarthy, and we thought we were getting something different when we put Mike Johnson in, and turned out to be more of the same backroom deals and people compromising their positions in order to get votes to move the next thing along. And I have a problem with the Libertarian Party as it sits right now for the reasons that I just said, but I would really like to see the conservatives do more. I mean, we talked last night, and I said the same thing. I said, listen, I just don't – I feel like there's no good guys. That's why I like Theotis. I know Theotis. I talk to Theotis every day, multiple times a day. And I know exactly what he stands for, and he's the everyday. He's the everyday guy. He's you. He's me. He's my next-door neighbor. He goes through the same things, puts himself out there for people. And he's a regular guy. He's not the political class of, lawyer, and he wasn't tagged in by some organization or nonprofit that he's secretly really championing like a lot of these other people are. He doesn't belong to any of that. And the GOP has completely ghosted him. They didn't even, when the debate actually happened, they never even told him where it was. Wow. This is what happens. This is what happens. It was. I remember back when Ron Paul was running for president, and he won every single debate, every single straw poll, everything. He wiped the floor with everyone on that stage, including Mitt Romney. But whenever the news would talk about it, they wouldn't mention his name. They would say, in second place, we had Rick Santorum, and in third place, we had this. And they wouldn't even say his name, bro, because he was winning everything. And then at the last minute, they go to pick the nominee, and the GOP switches out the delegates. They switch out the delegates, and then the delegates get sent in to vote, and who they vote for? They voted for Mitt Romney, the guy who was no different than the guy he was running against. No different. This is the guy who supported Kamala Harris against Trump. But he's a Republican. Dick Cheney, he's a Republican, voted for Kamala Harris. All of John McCain's family came out hard for Kamala Harris. Paul Ryan, who's on the board at Fox News, voted for Kamala Harris. George Bush.
I think your point here is perfectly aligned with what Troll asked. What other Republicans are going after the elites? Almost none. That's the problem that we have, is there's been a separation between the people and the government. The government, Republicans, alike, along with Democrats, have been not capable, or I don't want to say that. They've been not willing to stand up to it.
Yeah. And that's the one place where I'll say I align with Thomas Massey's morals, because Thomas Massey is one of only 2 people in Congress, whether you be Democrat or Republican, one of only 2. Think about that. 2 that doesn't have an APAC babysitter.
All right. I guess that's true. Okay. I'll stop. You know, I just, it's frustrating maybe for me just to see how ineffective he is, but
because he didn't have any teammates, bro.
It's probably just part of the system, as opposed to a fault of his. Maybe he, yeah. Like overall, I do like the guy, but it's just how ineffective he is what bugs me. It just seems like he just gets run over constantly. Theodis, I'm glad you're back. You know, I know that cell phone service can be a little different sometimes. Currently, Theodis is out. You know, he blessed us with his presence, even though he's on the road right now. But I do appreciate you making it here, man.
We got some stories to tell. It's too early to tell some of the stories of the things that have happened in the background during Theodis's campaign. But my God, when we finally get to tell some of these stories, people are going to be blown away. Away at the stuff that has been happening behind the scenes. You guys have no clue. No clue. The pushback, the opposition, the lies, the things that have been going on behind the scenes. And I mean, when I came into Theodis's campaign, I immediately sought out the grifters. Am I lying, Theodis?
No, you was pretty good. You went full steam ahead.
Sought out the grifters. I felt like Maurice. I felt like what's the guy? Javier Milei. Like, yeah, you gotta go. It was like that, man. And then the groundswell underneath him of all the people who started donating to his campaign. And here's this big Texan guy with this big cowboy hat and all this, man. And he didn't know. He couldn't believe it. He logged into his campaign finance for him, and he looked and he saw the donations, and he was just overwhelmed. He was overwhelmed to see how many people were giving. And now we're getting ready to launch his store with his official line of on your bumper t-shirts, hats, mugs, bumper stickers, so that people can stop profiting off of his son's name and his likeness.
Yeah, they've done it. Well, you remember right after the joint session, they had what they call a meme coin. I didn't know what a meme coin was. I never heard of it. And so by the time the morning came, I got a phone call. And they said, "Dude, did you make a meme coin?" I was like, "What is that?" And they said, "Well, it's a coin that you make, and it's like a Bitcoin deal or whatever." And I was like, "No, I don't know anything about it." They said, "You know that they made one on your son, and they made $47 million last night, and they just cashed out this morning." And then they did it again and made another $17 million. So I'm thinking to myself, who in the hell got this money? Because I didn't get it. I would have much rather donated it than somebody steal it from me.
Yeah.
And that's wrong, you know. I mean, all the suffering and all the pain, the surgeries and stuff of that nature, you know, Diverge has been through all the sleepless nights and everything else I've been through with him, and there's people just coming through, just capitalize on it. That should be a crime. That should be a federal crime, actually, because it's got to do with something like a wire fraud.
It is a federal crime to use someone else's name and likeness to profit off of it without their permission, which is why I had Wix shut down. Somebody literally in Theodis's name for his campaign bought his domain name, Maurice, bought his domain name, set up the site, and then tried to sell it to him and said, "Well, I'll give it to you for $4,000," and wouldn't release his name and his site, his campaign site, wouldn't release his own site to him, and bought it all in their name, and then tried to extort him.
Yep. Sounds about right. That's politics for you, man. That's why a lot of Americans, like, they just stay out of it, because they know that these traps are put in place to cancel out anybody like from the start. Like if you're not in the group, in the know-how, and you're not surrounded by people who know of these traps, then you'll get set up and then stomped out immediately.
That's what I'm here for.
That's their way to filter out the everyday Americans and keep their club exclusive. Because they have all the money. We don't. We don't have all the money. We've been working our entire lives trying to provide for our kids.
Well, that's pretty much how they're doing it with the Harris County GOP over there for Harris County. I mean, they run it like a yacht club or something. They call me an outsider candidate and things of that nature. And just because, the president down there is friends with one of the candidates, she doesn't want to help with no fundraising or tell, especially me, I don't get any information on where the forums are, nothing. I find out from other folks. And by the time I find out, it's too late. And so that's what they're about now. It is a problem, and President Trump said it himself, and I can play the little clip back. But he said it at the founders dinner with I think it was Dr. Ben Carson's birthday. We were there, and President Trump even said that it's a problem when you have a Republican that's been endorsed by a whole bunch of Democrats. There's a problem with that, especially when them two are fighting back and forth. So one of them asked me not to run. All of a sudden, they're being endorsed by 100 Democrats. So look, my thing is, if you want to run. But if you think you're going to get in there and get the Republican votes and turn around once you get in and then say, oh, well, I'm Democrat, now you've lied. Now we have a problem. So, they shouldn't be able to do that. And that's why everybody's so angry and mad and stuff. Like me, I'm running as what I am. I'm sticking to it. That's it. I'm not switching sides. I don't jump shit. I don't cross the yard to go play in the other grass. I'm right here. And I'm all the way in it. And we just gotta, you gotta be loyal. You gotta be loyal to the soil and handle business. And it's not about the money. I don't care about the money. I just want results, and I think people deserve a lot better, especially voters have been disappointed for so long. And kids deserve to grow up with a future. But for me, another thing that really jarred me was that when I went to Denny's and I saw an 87-year-old grandma working over there at Denny's. And I'm thinking I'm going to enjoy my Grand Slam. I couldn't even eat my food because I said to myself, well, God dang, if she work at Denny's, is this what I'm going to be looking forward to when I get to her age? Oh, no, we need to fix this problem now. So, it's a lot of different reasons why I'm running, and people just don't understand what's going on. But I'm not very happy right now. And sometimes you got to be unhappy to want to get the drive, or like my dad say, get that leather on the tip of your boots through your rear end to get you in motion to get things done. So that's what it is. My son, he's done a lot and he deserves everything he gets, and it's tirelessly. I'm always doing things trying to motivate folks, but at the same time, it makes me feel good to see that something small turned into something great, to where we've actually saved people's lives from committing suicide, giving up on life, continue to fight through their cancers or whatever they're going through. I'm a veteran. I went through all that stuff with the whole deal with adjustment disorder and everything. It took me like 16 years to get to where I'm at right now. And I've overcome a lot of obstacles, and look at me. So there's a lot of different aspects of everything that I've been through that I can say I've been there. I'll tell you what, I got receipts and paperwork showed I worked at McDonald's at $4.15 an hour. And like somebody else, we won't mention their name, but I literally worked there in high school for $4.15 an hour. So,
Yeah, well, Theotis, hey man, we're going to be doing weekly press conferences with Theotis. If you're not following him, you can follow him at Theotis 4 Texas 18. So that's Theotis, the number 4 Texas 18, and you can follow him there. Thank you, Theotis, for joining us, and we appreciate it. And